goal line, off fast line, deep fast line, and a squad line, and a sail line, and a sail line, and a sail line. Tick, tick. Lead on 3, 1, 2, 3.
What's going on, guys? My name is Anthony Gonzalez. I'm the head football coach at Everett Alvarez High School, and we're at week 7. And always with me is Mr.
Dylan Mack, head coach at Elmwood Park High School, just outside of Chicago, Illinois.
Week 7.
Seven.
7.
Yeah.
7? Oh, God. Dude, Let's go. I'm ready for this. And I'm
It's
actually
not like you teach math.
No,
you teach math, I'm not counting.
You know what? Some of my kids don't know that 9 times 9 trick with their fingers.
I saw a video on that. Like I teach an instructional math class. So self-contained math class, and I showed a video about that. And I was like, "Whoa, that's awesome!"
Wait a minute, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh my God! Dude.
I just know my multiplication tables.
Oh, so you've memorized them? Got it.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, if you don't know it, right? Like 2 times 9, you go 1, 2, and now you have 8, 1, and an 8. So now you have 8. Like, for real, it's not that hard. Anyways, I'm also excited because we just got the go ahead to start conditioning for our school district. So we actually get to see the kids on Wednesday this week.
That's huge.
Yeah, we haven't seen them since March. I mean, we've had Zoom or Google Meet meetings and stuff, but y'all know that ain't the same.
No.
So yeah, we're pretty pumped. We're trying to get all the paperwork pushed really quickly. All the coaches' paperwork, even though I told them like a month ago, there's still those fools that just don't do that NFHS stuff. And it's like, good Lord, bro. So yeah, dude, I'm pretty pumped, pretty excited, a little nervous, like my wife's in the back of my head going, well, make sure you're safe. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm going to try my best, but always that safety thing in the back of my head. And we only get one shot at getting this right. So hopefully we do it right. If you guys have any tips on how to do this right, let me know, because I could definitely use them.
I don't know, across country, like people are doing it. Numbers aren't spiking in high schools.
Yeah. So I don't know. I have no idea. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. You ready to start this thing? I think
so. We got a bunch of good questions. I'm really looking forward to the program questions all the way at the end. But I mean, we could do our X's and O questions too.
Okay. Oh, never mind. Okay, we'll start with you want me to go first? I'm going to ask this first one.
You like to ask the questions, so I just let you go.
We're going to switch every time now, right?
For sure.
Okay.
Whatever you want.
Okay. Well, I'll go first then, and then you'll go, and then we'll get a pattern. We'll get this. It's only
only week 7.
Yeah. So a couple quick high school O-line questions. What are your preferences on 2-point versus 3-point stances, and do you ever switch up? That's part 1. And then part 2 of the question is, what have you found to be the best splits for your line, and do you ever switch that up? And that's Coach, oh God, maybe you should have went first. Maccarelli?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Maccarelli?
Maccarelli? I don't know. Yeah. I think that, I'm sorry, Coach, I butchered your name. Dylan, what do you got for this question?
So I'm always in a 2-point stance. And that's even when I was a run heavy, run first team. I know it's almost like cursing to say that, but even back when I was that, we were still in a 2-point stance. My reasoning, and I sold my old head coach on this, was when you're down in a 3, what do you have to lift up? You have to lift up your neck. And what's going to get the sorest and what's going to allow for them not to be paying attention or lose sight of the blitzers or their guy as they're shifting, dropping their head, right? Because, I mean, just naturally, get in your stance. Get in your stance right now. I'll give you a second.
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah, your neck's going to get sore, and you're lifting it up, and you got that humming. You're lifting. And then what do you complain about all the time with your O-line? You're saying, get your head up, get your head up, get your head up, right? And all they're doing is trying to get their head up. And what happens the first thing once they start getting tired? They drop their head. And then that's normally when your plays get blown up, because that linebacker sees them drop their head and blows by them for a blitz, or just beats them because they read their feet, and linebackers do their job. All right. So my thought is, well, if linebackers are up in a 2-point stance, why not have our athletic linemen be up in a 2-point stance? Now we work the shit out of making sure we stay low, and we're going to come off the ball hard. When we were a run first team, we still were in a 2-point stance and we'd come off the ball hard. We worked that first step a lot. Now that we're more of a drop back throw team, we work a lot of pass pro, and that truthfully benefits us more. But yeah, either way, I'm a big fan of the 2-point stance because you are not going to get them to drop their head as much. You're going to get them to raise up, but at that point, we're running outside zone anyway, so it doesn't matter.
You know what? I never thought I agree with you on something, but I kind of agree with you.
Right. Well, because you start thinking about it.
Yeah, I never really thought about that too much. Like, we run the wing T, so I mean, you're in a 3-point stance as an O lineman.
Mhm.
I mean, there's no questions about it.
Leverage.
Yeah, now you got me thinking a little bit. Like, their head does tend to go down. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I'll mess around. I think I told you guys this before. I'll mess around and I'll play scout team defense just
Mhm.
because I think it's fun.
Right.
And like every now and then I'll sneak through a gap just because guys' heads down or they're tired, and like, I am having fun because I'm talking shit because I'm like, what, you can't block an old guy or what? But now that I think about it, that's not man, I hate agreeing with you. It eats at my soul and everything I believe in. Oh man. I don't know. We've always had him in a three point stance. And I think our reasoning is, just pad level. It gets their pad level down a little bit more. We're trying to block guys with our shoulders on their hip. So like, if we're doing a really good job of that, they're pretty much already there at that level with a 3-point stance. But now, like, I'm really considering how the heck we could focus on keeping their head up. God damn it, Mac, I hate you right now.
Hey, it sucks to
So
be
I
super
don't know,
smart.
man. I think, maybe, I've never seen a really effective wing T team though, like, in a 2-point.
Well, but I don't think wing T teams, it's that, oh, well, we need leverage. Well, if you can create that leverage with staying in a 2-point stance, I think it's something you have to work on. I think it's because they never saw it as useful, right? Like, because why would you? If I'm in, the defense is in a 3-point stance, so I should be in a 3-point stance.
I'm not going to rock the boat with that quite yet, but there's something a brewing in here right now. I'm not sure I like it. It's like conflicting values in me right now. Okay.
There's a couple wing T questions in here that I was pretty excited about, solely because I think it's teetering on blowing up the wing T world. The splits.
I haven't looked at the questions yet, so I don't know.
The splits. My splits are like 3-4 feet, depending, and we'll adjust them. We'll adjust them to the play. Yeah. I mean, we tell them to be smart with their splits. If they're getting beat real bad, we'll shorten them down. If they're able to widen out, we tell them to widen out.
We're kind of the same way. We usually follow the same, standard 3-foot split, 3-foot split, and then in between the tight end, like 3 to 4. We will shift them down according to maybe a couple plays, unless the defense starts to notice. Like, especially if we're trying to run jet, we condense a little bit more to try to bring them in just a little bit more. We might go foot to foot on like wedge, quarterback or something like that. But I think we talked about this last week. I was watching a team. I went to a Glacier clinic and they run the crap out of flex bone. So midline, inside veer, outside veer. They played with their splits so goddamn much. It was incredible. And they basically ran a 2-man midline game. But the better part of their game, because the defense would just spread out according to how big their splits were. So their guard was like almost 6 feet away from their center, and that 3 technique went out that wide.
Right.
And if you're running back and your quarterback can't figure out midline with a 6-foot split, like, get new quarterback and running back. But those guys rep that so much that you're probably golden.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure they just mop the floor with those dudes.
Whew. All right. Any ideas for short yardage or goal line packages? Coach Medlock out of Georgia.
Let me think. We're in a wing T, so we really don't have
that's your whole offense.
That's our whole offense is a goal line offense. I mean, if we can't, dude, and honestly, like I look back at our film, there were some plays where we should have gained 3 yards and we freaking didn't. But if we can't put up 3 yards per play, then we're hurting already. Um, we do like have some substitutions where we sub in some heavy guys, but I have been paying attention to like a lot of traditional single wing and double wing stuff this past off season. So I'm thinking maybe to incorporate some of that with like a quarterback power toss with the quarterback leading up through the hole. I do also like I don't know what he calls it, his heavy package. And I've seen other people call it something different. Like another dude called it his beast package, where basically you had, tight end, guard, center, guard, tackle, tight end, right? And then your quarterback was in a shotgun, but he's one of your running backs. And then you had 3 big beefy dudes on the heavy side. And I think Kenny Simpson puts stuff up like that all the time. I think he calls it his heavy formation. And he just basically runs power or counter out of it. And you don't know which one's coming. So like I'm thinking we might, play with that a little bit too, just because it's different. It looks kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie. And I think it will probably be fun. The kids will probably look at it and be like, oh shit, coach, this looks awesome. Like, hell yeah, let's do this. So, as long as I pump it up a little bit, they'll be juiced.
No, and kind of piggyback on that one. It's if you could throw some extra linemen out there, anytime you could put linemen in the backfield, and they get excited about that right away.
Yeah, because they think they'll have a chance to get the ball, and they're just there to block.
Right. It's like, dude, you get a running head start. That's it. Like you're going to whiff because you're on the line for a reason. If you could block in space, we put you out at a receiver. Like, sorry. Like I know you think that you're so much bigger than everybody else, but you're really not. Like we've been lying to you this whole time. You're like 8 pounds bigger than the receiver. So like just relax. But yeah, for short yardage, we do kind of the same thing. We'll bring in like our tight end, but we'll throw an extra lineman in the backfield. We'll do like a sniffer back or a fullback. But I mean, for the most part though, we run our normal stuff. Like so we like do a lot of rub routes kind of on the outside.
Your sniffer back that's a lineman, does he get to go out on mesh?
He does not.
Oh damn!
Darn ineligible numbers.
That's what he's looking for, right?
Always. He's like, can I go out for a route?
Just let me run that bubble or that flare route, and I can catch it. I swear.
Well, and they watch on Saturday and Sunday where it's like, well, I could report as eligible. And it's like, not in high school, bud.
Sorry, buddy. Good thinking. All right, let's go to the next question.
Yeah.
This is from Coach Moko in Brazil.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Hi, coaches. I'm from a small team in Brazil, and this year I'm promoted to the head coach. Well, congratulations.
Awesome.
Without large experience, just like most of our athletes, I'm looking for help in offense. We have good athletes, but they're learning. We're looking for a simple way to install an offense. Any tips or something? Oh, I can tell there's some broken English. Any tips or something to help us with this difficult mission? All right. What do you want to go first?
Sure. I mean, I think you install the air raid.
Yeah.
You install it in 3 days, and then you rep it. Like, if you have good athletes, this works well. Like, it's really built around having good athletes. So, and it's going to be fun. I think it's a soccer-esque style offense as opposed to more of a rugby style offense.
Bring that soccer thing. Oh, that's a low.
So
out.
Hey, I'm just out here trying to, sell a good offense when I can. But no, I think any offense that isn't going to be over complex, you're going to be able to install in a couple days. If you're going to have more than 4-day install, you're probably trying to install too much. Keep it simple. The simplest offenses work at every level. I mean, you see Kansas City Chiefs running air raid, and they're running very basic plays a lot of the time, and then they come out and do some crazy cool stuff. But for the most part, they're doing basic fundamental things. It's not it doesn't have to be this long in depth West Coast style offense where you have to have, a paragraph for every play. So I would say keep it simple, keep it to the basics, let them learn, and then slowly kind of build over the next couple of years.
Again, it's going to hurt my heart to agree with you again, but I kind of do agree, especially if you have a short amount of time to install.
Right.
That's one of the things that me and my offensive coordinator are kind of struggling with right now. Like, what can we install in the short amount of time that we have? And how do we make it as simple as we possibly can? Because last year, to tell you the truth, we installed our whole offense over spring ball. And we took 4 days to install like 80% of our offense. And then we actually worked on that 80% for the next week of spring ball. And then as the summer went on, we installed the last 20%. But we, kept refreshing that 80%. And the only reason we kind of we have to go back all the time, and I'm sure you guys do this too, like you just have to go back and rep things that what you want to do. But we had maybe 3 or 4 series in that were pretty solid. This year we don't have that practice time, so we're still unsure of where we're going to go, because last year our base series was the Buck Sweep series, but this year we're thinking it might be Belly, because Belly is just cheaper than Buck Sweep in terms of time. We'll eventually get to Buck, but we got to get good at something fast. So if you're trying to get good at something fast, I would consider an offense that has less to put in and less detail. I wouldn't say less detail. How do you say this? The lineman detail in the wing tee, I feel like is, more complicated than a lot of other offenses. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Any kind of running offense, like if you did the single wing or the double wing, the detail in that is for the linemen is a little more difficult. The running backs, here's the ball, find the hole.
Right.
Really all you gotta say. But for line, it's a little harder. So I mean, maybe there is a reason that I've been bugging you about the air raid stuff, because I'm like, hey, maybe we can put one of these plays in, just open it up a little bit so people don't pack the box on us so goddamn much.
Right. Well, especially if all you're running is belly.
Right. Belly and down, I think, is going to be our first series that we install.
Now you should be. I mean, you don't have to necessarily use the ball, and you could get some stuff in conditioning.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
If that's the limitations that they're giving you.
We have a drill we do all the time called the Fool Me drill, where there's just running backs and the quarterbacks. We can't have a ball the first month or so until November or something, but we can still run the play on air.
Right.
And the Fool Me drill was they had to hide the ball well enough so the coach or the player that's seeing the play with no lineman in front of them couldn't tell.
Right.
So that drill was one of the best things that we did all year, because then with the lineman in front of you, now you just have all these moving parts, and now you really can't find the ball. And yeah, it worked really well. So we're probably going to do a lot of that. A lot of that.
All right. Getting to the next question here. Coach Hopper from Tennessee sounded like a rough night on Friday. Just lost my 3-year starter at right tackle, broken leg.
Oh, shit.
Have to get his backup ready for a huge region game. Big part of the game I know too well. What are your thoughts on moving existing guards and tackles that may be better down blockers to that position and then filling their spots? I feel like you have 2 new positions then. Definitely not a good thing. Thoughts?
That sucks.
Yeah, give me your thoughts on this first, and then I'll chime in.
So we flip our line,
right?
So our strong side of our line is more down blocking type of kids, and but our strong guard does have to pull and kick out every now and then. For us, I think what we would do is I would actually take the guard and move him to tackle, if he could handle it. Our right tackle was our big down blocking tackle, so we needed some push there. If he can generate that same push, great. you do have 2 new spots there, so I think you're right. That is a huge issue. Um, but that's when like you got to figure out if he can learn that position really quickly. However, on the flip side is if you're only just going to sub the backup tackle in, and 99 or 90% of his job is just to fucking down block, just put that first guy in
Right.
or the backup in. You know what I mean? And keep everyone the same. You're probably going to have to talk to the OC or whoever is calling the plays, and you're going to have to like kind of call plays based around that kid now. Like, what does he know? What is he good at? What is he not good at? If you require some plays where the tackle pulls and he's not a very good puller, we're probably not going to call those as much. Like we'll rep it with him, make sure he knows where he's going, who he's looking for, using the right shoulder. But if he's not that good at it, we're probably not going to call it. But like maybe that's a better answer. If he down blocks like most of the time for the majority of your plays, just sub that backup in and teach the hell out of that down block.
No, I would agree with you there. I guess for me, the biggest hangup would be moving a guard to a tackle. The guard is more valuable than a tackle in my offense. The tackle, he's on an island more of the time, but the guard's doing a lot more communicating. So I would feel like by moving my guard out, it'd be a toss-up, I guess. Like, it'd be dependent on how good that guard is, I guess. Like, if he could handle it, kind of like what you were saying. If he could handle going out and being that tackle, sure, maybe that would be the best choice, because then I could bookend the new person with a center that's been there and now that guard that moved to tackle being there to be able to kind of coach them up on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times in my experience, moving a guy from guard to tackle hasn't really worked out all that well. Like, just because they're used to seeing more stuff and they tend to chase in pass pro. So I like normally our tackles stay kind of tackles and our guards just flip either side.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I wouldn't be as keen on the idea of moving my guard out unless it was, in the middle of the game, sure, like in a pinch. But if I had a whole week to prepare it, I'd probably just move that one position, kind of like what you were saying.
Okay, I like that. So. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh,
Yeah.
Sud still? I remember that guy. He's had a few of these questions on here.
He has.
Yeah. If linebackers are at 2 to 3 yards off the line of scrimmage, should they be treated just like a lineman in the blocking scheme? And again, that's Coach Studstill out of Georgia. 2 to 3 yards, treat him as lineman in the blocking scheme.
So for us, I'll kick this one off, and this kind of goes off of what our blocking scheme is going to be. We have a count system for everything. So whether it's pass pro, whether it's run blocking, we're going to count off who we're blocking. So whether you're on the line of scrimmage or whether you're off the line of scrimmage, we're going to account for you with the linemen we have. So to me, it doesn't make a difference. So if they have one dude on the line of scrimmage and then 5 dudes that are 2 to 3 yards off, we're going to account for them as if they're on the line of scrimmage, just as if they had 5 guys on the line of scrimmage and 1 guy that's off. We're going to play it basically the same way. So I would say you have to account for them, because if they come, you have to have someone who's going to pick them up.
Sure. Our blocking scheme, we're going to account for them regardless, just because of how the rules work.
Right.
With the wing T, like that lineman or that linebacker that is 2 to 3 yards is, on the track of that tackle that's blocking down, and he's following his gap down backer rule, then he's got to block that guy. If he's not on his track, then he's gonna overpass him and go to somebody else. But I have found, like, we have a team that does play wing T teams closer, and it was interesting at first because I didn't even I didn't think it would be that big of a difference for our guys, but it was, and it messed up their angle,
Really?
and they just really weren't able to get to the backers as effectively as we had thought they would be. Because we practiced with those guys up closer. Because normally, like
Right.
back, 4.5 to 5. Well, these guys they were playing wing T teams at 2 to 3,
Okay.
and like it was just the quickness of their backer was better than the quickness of our guy getting down to block him.
Okay.
And there were plays, where we broke a little bit, but like they did a really good job that night balling us up with those backers because we just couldn't get to them because we weren't as quick off the ball as they were once they read what we were doing, and then the angle for the tackle was just off and he couldn't get it right. And
Gotcha.
showed him on, we just showed him on the replay system, where they were lining up and where he needs to go instead, and he just still didn't register in his brain, and we ended up losing that night. But we do, yeah. But to answer that question, we do have a way to block them. Now, if the kid actually blocks them, different story. Shit. It's one of those nights where you're just like, God damn it, what are we doing? It's gonna be one of those nights, guys. Great. Okay, here we go. Let's go to the next question.
Yeah. So how do you guys incorporate quick game? Any special plays, formations you like put in for late in the game if you're behind? We were normally a double tight, double wing team, but are looking for some change up plays, formations for late game. Coach Harrelson from actually Nate's neck of the woods down in Illinois, the southern part of Illinois.
Wait, isn't that your neck of the woods? Anything
No.
Illinois is the same.
No.
No. How is it not the same?
It's just like California. It's a long state, my man.
No way, it is not just like California. You can put like 3 Illinois in California.
I think you could maybe, but it's still like California. Like Chicagoland and Southern Illinois are so far away and so different.
Now I gotta Google this.
Yeah, look at it.
Answer the question while I'm looking.
Okay. So quick game, I think that you could put in if you're a double tight, double wing team. I think you could put corner in, you could put stick in. So you could do it a couple different ways. I think corner works really well if you have your tight end running the corner route and the wing back running that little kind of stick or snag route. Or you could flip it then and run kind of a snag where you're running off with those tight ends, and then you have the wings, you're having the tight ends run the stick, and then the wings run the fade. I think that would work really well. I think you can also get kind of a reverse kind of blade concept where you're running an arrow and a like 5 and out. So 5 and out with your tight end, and then an arrow with your wing. Again, you're just looking for something quick where you're just getting them out into space. Most of the time you're getting double wing, you're getting everybody boxed in. So you're looking for someone to just get leverage on that corner. And if that corner is not going to respect your tight end, because he's going to have to play that tight end first, and then you're going to get an outside linebacker on your wing. So your wing's probably your best athlete, right? Right, Gonzalez? That's
probably one of them, yeah, for sure.
Right. So I'm going to have someone downfield, especially with that blade concept where it's going to be a 5-yard out and an arrow route. I'm going to have a blocker downfield for my best athlete. I'll take my chances with that. And I think that really is a way where you don't have to all of a sudden shift and do a whole new formation where you're going to have to give a big tell. And what would work really nice is you could do some really nice play action off that, where you could do, dive, kind of that Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, stick the ball out there, pull it back, and then nice, quick, easy play action. That's truthfully one of my favorite things about being under center is the look of play action, just because it looks so much better than out of shotgun or pistol.
Mm-hmm. So when we do these, like, I shouldn't say special formations because they're all incorporated in our offense anyways. Like we have a trips formation. There's 2x2 without a tight end, with a tight end. We have a bunch of different things that we can do. We usually stick to just 2 or 3 formations throughout the whole game. but like if we need to, we can. I guess the hard part about being a double wing is like you guys are packed in there so tight that,
Mhm.
and you're probably repping the same thing over and over again a lot, that it's hard to, get out of it. Um, However, um, we do have, like I've talked about it a lot of weeks before. We have an empty formation we went to help win us a game. But like I said, the trips formation stuff that we do, I really like because we can run pretty much the whole offense out of that as well. Um, Let me see if I'm reading the question right. I mean, you're behind late in the game. Yeah, you got to switch something up because you don't want the clock to. Usually, as a double wing team, you're trying to drain clock. You don't
Mhm.
want that anymore if you're trying to come back. So I mean, there's always a bunch of different ways. And I honestly figured out that the stuff that we've been calling is actually quick game stuff. And I was like, wait, what? I didn't. We just called it this. I didn't know
Right.
where it came from. And then after looking at like route trees and stuff that you sent me, I was like, oh shit, we're actually running air raid. Damn it.
Well, it's all. I mean, it's just quick game. It's
Probably all the
nothing.
same stuff that everyone else uses though too.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, out of double tight, double wing, you could run mesh, you could run shallow, you could run. I mean, you could go
Run
four verts. I mean, there's a whole mess of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
especially if the whole game you've been just pounding the rock up the middle, and they're just packing the box, putting 11 in the box to come out and then go all go where everyone's just kind of, cockroaches when the lights come on, scatter.
Yeah. Honestly, I think mesh would probably be really good. I think that should be pretty cool.
Yeah, mesh.
Okay.
I think mesh would
I
be
just
nice if
realized
you.
how north Chicago is.
Right. Yeah, man.
I mean, it's like pretty much the northern part of your state.
Correct.
And I don't know. I'm scared to go down further. 'Cause then you like in Kentucky almost, in Tennessee.
Oh, but that's why Nate has more of an accent, more of that style accent. Like Nate and McDonald have more of a similar accent.
Dude, McDonald has a big old accent. Nate, I don't hear it so much.
Yeah, he doesn't have like a ton, but every once in a while you get it.
Oh my god. Oh shit, there's Champaign. Okay. I mean,
Right.
that's mid-state.
Right.
Okay, I don't know, man.
That's
So
like
wait.
St. Louis level.
Yeah, yeah, pretty close. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not that close, but it's still pretty close.
No,
Okay.
but on the same level. Like, what is that, latitude?
I guess
Like,
so, yeah.
yeah, it's on the same latitude.
God bless America. Let's keep going.
We're covering a lot of things outside of football.
I know. I mean, that's why I'm starting to like this even more now.
We're really getting cross curricular.
All right, let's go to the next question. How are
Yeah.
you guys getting plays in with the no huddle system in this offense? I'm not sure which offense. Wing T offense? We have
Oh,
I think we've answered this one, right?
yeah.
I'm-
You could do wristbands. I thought actually when I first read this question, I thought he was saying players.
oh, okay.
But that was
Get out of. What do you run out of it? Oh no, it's a different question. Yeah, but we use wristbands. We have just like colors and then numbers to form
Mhm.
like a grid system. And in those grid systems, in that grid system, we have a play call. So we could say like green 34. I
Yeah.
mean, hang on, no huddle. We're moving, there's not 34 plays in there. There's probably 10. So 10 on the right, 10 on the left. And honestly, they're probably mirrored for us too, just because we want to keep it simple and keep it something that the kids are really good at and they know. So that means that we'll still probably run buck sweep in there.
Right.
But like we'll say like blue 1, and then it'll be like the formations on the left because the L and blue, and then whatever play 1 is, and then red 1 will probably be the mirror of blue 1. I don't know.
Correct.
That's how we've done it, and it's worked really effectively. We don't change it very much every week, so the kids know like, okay, we're in that 2-minute, so they like start looking at their wristband, and we can just move.
Yeah, we last few years we've done wristbands, and we had 60 plays on that wristband, and we do stoplight. Red would be huddle, yellow would be check with me, that college style of like they'd get a formation basically, and then they line up, they go through a dummy cadence, then they'd all turn and look, then they'd go. Green would be our just go, so it would be like green 52. They'd look at the wristband, and then they'd line up and go. It worked real well. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like
Yeah,
it
so
was just
I like that check with me thing. I do like, you line up in your formation, see where they're lined up, and then you call the play based off of where they're at.
right. Yeah, no, it did. It worked. I probably could have used it more than I did, but we would just go up tempo so much that we were just rolling in that. Like
Mhm.
we would just outgas some teams that way. And the games that were tighter, we'd use that yellow more. Like
Okay.
that's really what it came down to. Is games where we were in kind of tight situations and in more true ball games, we'd use that yellow more. But
Mhm.
for the most part, we'd stay in green.
Oh,
So
nice.
this year we're going to code words. I think I talked about that a couple times.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
we're just going to go try and go one word plays. We'll have a couple words for different formations, a couple words for plays, and then a couple words for some tags. And then I think because I'm super bored and making it way more complicated than it probably needs to be, uh, I have hand signals for the quarterbacks if we really want to get tricky. But
Because you're super bored.
super bored over here.
I mean, that makes sense. I would be super
But then the
bored.
quarterback can audible. So if the quarterback's at the line and he doesn't like what was sent in, he can audible and he could signal it to everybody.
Mhm.
So
Well, hopefully you don't get unbored soon, because I can completely understand how bored you probably are.
right.
Okay, is it
All
my
right.
turn?
Next question. Anyone go under center with no tight end as your primary formation? What do you run out of it? And that's Coach Peter Roberts. So formation you don't see too much anymore.
No, a lot of the formations that I see that run the ball with no tight end are the spread pistol. I mean, not spread pistol, spread flex bone teams. Where they have two receivers, two A
Mhm.
backs, a B back, and they're running that midline inside veer, outside veer.
Right.
Uh, they will run belly out of that too, just to give you a change up.
Right.
um, that gets a little tricky sometimes. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when my kids actually get blocked when we're playing those teams, they'll like kind of freak out because they haven't been blocked all game, and then all of a sudden the guard's coming to kick them out. So those are the like primary runs I would think of out of that formation in particular. If we're running wing T stuff, I would probably be in a double wing look. So yeah, our A backs or our wing backs, so they would
Mhm.
both be up in the formation. That way, we have like a four verts threat
Right.
uh, with that look. But we would just send someone in motion if we wanted to run buck sweep, and we run buck sweep that way. Everyone would have the same rules. We would just not have a tight end blocking down. The wing back would be the one blocking down. I mean, he does it normally anyways. And hopefully with that tight end out of the box, now we're wide receiver out there, it just gets rid of one guy out of the box. And it
Mhm.
also backs the safety up a little bit because they got to be worried about the four verts and even a quick slant from that guy. So, like that helps every now and then. We don't do that very often. I'm not gonna lie. We are usually in a tight end wing formation. I don't think you guys go under center with a tight end, do you?
Uh, with the tight end, I've gone under center, but not without. Where we're 2x2 or 3x1. With,
Mhm.
I mean, if we do that, like I think everybody in our conference knows, if we do that, we're going to sneak it. So
Sneak it. Yep.
I
Sneak it.
mean, that's really legit it. What we run out of that. Like
Mhm.
every once in a great while, just to keep people honest. And I mean, literally might be once in 4 years. We ran a jet sweep out of that.
Okay.
And that I think was more of an accident. Like quarterback misheard what I told him to do.
Okay.
Like I told him to wedge it, but I told him to send the dude in motion, and he
Uh-huh.
took it as like give it to the guy in motion, and it's like nope.
You get the person.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Well,
Because they all packed the box.
all's
I mean, it was
forgiven.
a smart move.
Yeah.
It wasn't what I told him to do.
Okay. I mean, the move still made sense, right?
Right. Right.
Okay. That's good.
So
All right. Next one.
yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go. Installing the air raid from scratch. What are the first three must-have plays to put in? Coach Brian Thomas. Well, Coach Thomas, luckily for you, you're going to get a lesson from Dylan Mack.
I guess, Coach, it would also depend on when or how much time you have put in. I think that's kind of what we've been talking about. over the last couple weeks here is you're looking at mesh and you're looking at all the fun air raid stuff of how do I keep my kids engaged, how do I move the ball downfield, and how expensive they are. And I guess that would be kind of my question is how much time are you talking? You have 2 weeks and you've never done this before, or do you have the next, like for us, we got what, 4 months, 5 months?
Almost an
Right.
uncountable amount of time right now, right?
Right. And you can put it in. Like if that's the case, then yeah, I would say you start with mesh. Then you could go. Then from mesh, I'd probably go 4 verts, and then from 4 verts, I'd go probably Y cross. But if you don't have that much time, I'd say that first play you got to put in is all 4 verts and have that open grass read where they convert 4 verts into comebacks.
Mhm.
And then I'd go off of that is where you basically run 4 verts and tag it with a shallow. So a guy coming across underneath. And then the last one I'd say is a must have. I'd truthfully probably say Y cross would be your other must have.
Okay, hang on. So we've talked about mesh and Y cross. I know I've said it to you a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how different are those two plays? Like I know the
Mesh and Y cross are like super
Yeah.
different.
Really, because you're still crossing at some point, right? It's just a deeper cross.
So for mesh, you have 2 guys that are actually crossing.
Mm-hmm.
For Y cross, it's really just your one receiver that's running across the field.
Oh, okay. So you don't have anything coming underneath it?
No, not normally.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So like you watch the Chiefs every once in a while, right? When they're on in your area.
Yeah, sure.
So like Tyreek Hill, when he runs across the field, that's normally a Y cross.
Hmm.
I would say probably 7 out of 10 times he's running a Y cross.
Okay.
When he starts on the right side and runs all the way to the left.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to dig more into that stuff that you sent me.
I would say that's the play you'd probably want more than mesh.
Really?
That's my personal opinion.
Okay, so now I'm interested now. Jesus, God, I hate being interested in this passing stuff. Y cross, guys running across the field at what, like 10? 10 to 12?
So you go underneath the outside linebacker, and then you gotta get over the top of the middle linebacker.
Got it.
And you keep climbing.
So you keep going, like if you're
Yep.
crossing the 10, then you're climbing to like 13, 15, 17.
It could be 27, 30. Like
Wow.
you just keep climbing.
So
But at the same time, you could still flatten that route out.
Okay. What are the other guys doing? Anything?
So the side you're running to, the outside. So if it's a 2x2 look, the outside receiver has a fade. The slot receiver has like a 5-yard out.
Okay.
Or like we'll run it at a 10-yard out.
Are the out and the fade just designed to pull guys away from the cross?
Yes and no. I mean, if they leave it open, we're going to read that. We're reading that first.
Okay.
So we got fade out cross.
Oh, you know what? I think I remember you and Mack talking about this over the summer. We drew this out, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because we're going to go fade out cross. And then on the backside, I normally will go a post with that backside receiver, or a post or a dig, just so that he's coming into the view of the quarterback. And then the running back leaks out to the right, to wherever the cross came from.
Okay. So if everyone bails with the cross, does he dump it?
Yeah.
Or is that like the last second emergency fucking throw?
No, it's a true 5-man progression. I mean, and it goes pretty quick.
Okay. See, I'm already overwhelmed. I'm just gonna stick to Bucks loot.
Fair enough. It's a toss play.
Is it? It's just a long toss play that goes.
Right.
Oh my god!
But yeah, I would say those are your 3 must-haves. So, Coach Thomas, and definitely all goes though. Like
I like that.
Like that, I would say all goes are like just do that. Like all goes, and then hey, is the guy 5 yards off of you? Stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's that simple.
It's not that hard to read the grass behind or in front of the defender. That's easy. Like,
Right.
I should be able to install that.
Right. And then the simple add-in, like the simple add-in is throw a shallow route underneath that.
Okay.
Like my
Right.
all-state wide receiver, that was like, I think he scored probably 7 touchdowns on that shallow route coming underneath all goes. Like, it was stupid.
It was stupid good.
Yeah. Like, we set him up as a nub tight end, and then he'd drag across the field. We'd dump it, and he'd like scamper into the end zone. And it was like,
let the band go, right?
Right.
All right, let's go to the next question before I start thinking about actually being an air raid coach, and I don't want that.
It's make life so much easier. I mean, your play card is as big as your phone.
I'm not the one calling it. So you know what? Honestly, though, my O coordinator would love it. Like, he would love it. Like, throwing the ball.
Would. Possibilities are limitless.
Just ask the next question.
We're going to the defense side.
Oh, are we? No, we got one more. We got a script play question.
Oh, you added it on after I printed this out. So.
Oh, okay. So I'll ask it.
So you read it.
You script your plays. How many do you script at a time? And then how do you track what works in the script? That's Coach Justin Bourne.
So like, we will script the plays. So I'm guessing he's asking more for games.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. So I'll script the first 10. I never get through my first 10. But I do script the first 10. And then for up in the booth, I have like very specific things that I want them to look for. And so I'll put questions, and I'll put like, Mike, check for does number 52 bail on this? And then like, Joe, does the safety come up with this? So there's very specific things I want them to look for, my booth guys to look for. But truthfully, I probably script 10. We get through about 5. And then after that, I go off script. Like,
why do you feel like you go off script after that?
At that point, I have a pretty good feel for what we're doing.
Okay.
Between me and my quarterback, and again, that was with a guy I've coached for 4 years, and like, he knew what I wanted. I knew more or less what he wanted. So it will be different with a kid that I'm getting for the first time this year,
Sure.
So I might have to go through a full 10 play script. Maybe I'll have to do script 15 and kind of feel him out a little bit more. But like, I knew where he was mentally within about 5-6 plays. Like,
gotcha.
was he feeling comfortable with the pass rush? Was he feeling comfortable, adjusting to the front that they were giving him, or audibling to make a correction? Or is it something that I needed to make sure we were waiting longer when sending stuff in? So it would be also like tempo is in that script. Like, in my script, I also want to make sure in the first 10 plays that we go check with me twice. We huddle a couple times, that we're going green for 4 plays in a row. So there was a lot of things that it wasn't just the play calling. It was more of kind of where my quarterback's head was at going into that game.
Sure.
And that's where having a kid for 4 years, I kind of knew before the game where he was. Like, year 1, I went through my 12 plays pretty religiously. Year 4, about 4 or 5 plays in, I knew if we were ready to roll or not. I mean,
so I know my O coordinator, he scripts his first 10, and honestly, he probably gets through like half of it as well. I don't know why he just gets anxious about it. If something's not working, then he's like, oh, we got to do this now. It's like, well, we're trying to figure out what they're doing.
Right.
First drive, like, it's great if we score, but I'm not like super panicked after the first drive.
Right.
And I think he feels that pressure and panic to put up points on drive 1 just to send a statement. But I guess we track it. He tracks it based off of like the yardage gained on. His play script is on just a piece of paper. I've tried to have him upgrade and laminate it and use a Sharpie instead, but I don't know. That's him. That's my neuroses of what I would do compared to what his neuroses of what he's gonna do. Um, but yeah, we track it usually by who or how many yards we gained, and then we also try to have the person upstairs in the booth try to track who made the tackle, so we
Okay.
can call an if then. If this kid made the play, then we'll call that instead on the next
Right.
time, next series. But honestly, usually we go based off of what the game film shows us, and attack the gaps that we like to attack, and then go from there. But we do script every now and then. It's not unheard of with us. But again, I think I'm pretty sure my O coordinator gets off of that script pretty fast.
Well, and your script is also for when everything's running on time, right? Like
Yeah.
your third play on your script isn't 3rd and 37,
Mm-mm.
right? Like I don't have that written down. Like, oh, we got sacked twice. Crap.
Yeah.
What are we calling here? Well, I have to go off of that. So like if your third play on your script is a dive and it's 3rd and 37, well, you have to venture off of that. So I mean, so you script it, but at the same time you got to be kind of smart with what you're doing as well.
Sure. All right, dude, let's go to the good side.
You want to call it a day? Like, is that what you're saying?
It's
We
not
just
that
got
many.
done with the good side.
We'll get through these pretty fast. I'm looking at how many defensive questions we have. They're not that many, so
No,
it should be up.
not too many defensive questions this week.
No.
Which, if you watch college football this weekend, I don't know why. Like, it's a bunch of low scoring games. Like, everyone's just shutting people out.
Yeah. Let's go.
So, how would you line up and defend against a team that goes double tight and overloads their O-line to one side or the other? And what if they put a sniffer back and C gap to the overloaded side? And that's Coach Jones from Florida.
That sounds like you are playing a double or a single wing team. Just based off of what I'm picturing in my head. I'm picturing like tight end, guard, center, guard, tackle.
So it was a fullback. He had a diagram. I didn't include the diagram.
Okay. Can you describe it?
Yeah, so I did. So it's double tight. They overload. So it's a tight end, a tackle, a guard, center, guard, tight end.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the left side, they have a fullback in C gap.
Wait, so is the diagram drawn strong left on the offensive perspective?
Yes.
Okay. See,
and then the receiver, the wideout, was also on the left. So you'd almost have like a trips left.
So it's an over formation. Well, it's not. You can't have trips because that tight end on the strong side is probably covered.
He wasn't.
Why not?
Why would he have to be covered?
Is he? He's not covered.
He's not.
Okay, so then do they just have a quarterback and a running back behind it?
Yeah, quarterback under center and then running back behind him.
Okay, so they're probably running something strong to that side, right? And I'm picturing like a toss or something. I can't see the formation, so it's making like my visualization right now is hard. So hang on. If we go from left to right, from the offensive perspective, right? There's a wide receiver out there, and he's not covering up the tight end. Then it has a tackle, guard, center, guard, tight end, and then they have a sniffer in the strong C.
Right.
Inserted in the strong C. Quarterback's under center. Where's the back? Is he right behind the quarterback at like 4 to 5?
Yes.
Yes. Was that an answer or a question?
Both.
That upward inflection in your voice makes it sound like a question to me. Both?
There, I sent you the picture.
Oh, you sent me the picture.
Yeah.
Oh, let's put it up. Oh, you just texted it to me. Got it.
Right. Yeah, I texted you the picture. I will put the picture up.
Okay. So it looks like the quarterback is under center.
Right.
All right. Okay, so I guess I don't know. People want to see this, or even if they're still listening after this rambling that I'm doing. Okay, so what I would do is I would shift my defense. Wait, oh, that's a TE. I would shift the defense over so their strength gets balanced by our strength. So like we would probably, if we have a zero tech for our center, the zero tech now goes on to our their strong side guard. That might mess with things, but or might mess with our zero text technique and read a little bit. So I probably wouldn't coach them any different. Like treat the center like you would treat the guard, depending on what they do too. Just because like a formation doesn't really tell me a whole lot. It's what they do out
Right.
of that formation that really I like to track. Because if they just run one or two plays out of this formation, that's kind of easy to prepare for. Um, but then in this formation, I would also like think about the offense as a whole and what could they do out of that? What would be easy for them to do out of that? Because you could probably, run like a counter tray with the that fullback coming back to the
Right.
weak side. Maybe you have like a little mini boot with the that weak side tight end um, sneaking out of the backfield. And the reason I say that is because we played a team last year, and whenever they scored, they ran the swinging gate,
Mhm.
and that was we had to prepare our kids for that. So we had a few games on them, so we saw almost everything that they did in the swinging gate. However, like me being kind of like anal about it, I'm like, okay, knowing this coach and how his style of offense is, he could do a few other things. And so, we practiced that in practice. And it just so happened after they scored their first touchdown, one of the things that I made up that I thought he would do, he actually did. And my my linebacker was like, "Coach, that was just like in practice." And I was like, "Dude, yeah, it was." But in the back of my head, I was like, "Holy shit, I guessed right." Like it was interesting because I looked at the formation, the way they ran their gate, and I'm
Mhm.
like, if I was calling offense, I might try this because this play would be open the way we're lined up in this. And so like we had to adjust to a motion in the gate, and they ran a quick slant with the motion guy back towards the middle of the field, and they didn't hit it because our guy was right there to break up the play because that's what we practiced. And yeah, dude. So like I would look at that formation. What do they like to do out of it? Are they really strong on the run to the heavy side? And then think of a counter, like a boot or a play action that they would go out of that. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. I would be more concerned with what could they come back to that short man side,
Yeah.
because obviously you're going to play that strong side with your dudes, and so if I'm offensively, I'm thinking what can I hit to one bring bodies to get numbers in my favor to the backside of that formation, and
Mhm.
also to out leverage you to the point where I'm going to get a bigger play, right? Because I'm going to probably pound the rock to the strong side,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to try and hit my home run on the weak side.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
You know, so I'm going to probably try and get into the boundary with that strong side, and then come back with probably a counter
Mhm.
and get it into the open field and really put you in a bind.
See,
So
well, that means my thought process isn't that crazy. Like,
no, that would be me. Or I mean, I guess I would also be more concerned if the receiver was on the opposite side of that fullback. Like if that all of a sudden happens, I would be alert because that would mean that there's more of a possibility of a jet with that
oh
fullback
yeah, yeah.
lead.
Uh-huh.
Um, just looking at it,
Yeah,
um,
with that receiver not being on the line, like you could do some fun things with that guy.
right? Oh
Move
yeah,
him around, motion him, like do all kinds of crazy stuff.
right.
So, get
Uh,
creative with how you're gonna defend that one. But
Right. You have to be prepared for all the possibilities and not necessarily get as hung up on, well, this is a goofy formation. Well, what can they do to you in this goofy formation?
Mhm.
They still have five possible pass threats that you have to be accountable for.
Yep.
And three of those guys are basically in a bunch formation, right? A tight bunch.
Mhm. With
So
it.
you have to be prepared for that. I mean, it would be a real easy screen set, right? Because now you have three guys overloaded that side. That's actually a really nice screen set with for that fullback. So I mean, I don't know. That would be kind of my thing. Is you just got to kind of make sure that people are alert and see what they like doing in general, and then kind of see how does that fit into what this is.
Sure. All right, let's go to the next one. Coach Steiner from Alabama is looking for tips, resources to help smaller corners cover receivers. If you have any YouTube links or drills, that'd be great, and he would love to share. So if you guys are still paying attention, if you have any links for Coach Steiner, go ahead and hit him up on Facebook and give him some drills for corners. I mean, honestly though, like if you're a small corner, your life is already difficult.
And lucky for you, Coach Steiner, is at Elmwood Park, we pretty much pride ourselves on the fact that we have the smallest corners in the country. So
hang on, wait a minute. Okay, how tall was one of your starting corners this past year?
Before he got moved to outside linebacker,
okay,
he was 5'1".
Oh man, I think you might have me beat because we did the exact same thing a few years ago, dude. We had a 5'2" kid and we moved him to outside linebacker.
He might be 5'2". He was short though. Like people looked at him and were like, we're just going to throw it to that kid. I mean, he was tough as nails. I mean, he stuck kids. He was a real good wrestler, and you really have to work on putting your palm, because you're never going to get your hand. You have to get that palm through the middle of that ball.
Yeah, and that's what we do with our smaller corners too. We tend to work on a lot of like receivers having the ball in hand and like getting your hand on the ball and swiping it, or like at least getting your hand on an arm and pulling. That way, like they have to make that spectacular one hand grab, but usually if there's two hands on there, they're not planning on making a one-handed catch anyway. So like we really work on that to get the ball out of there, because we had a kid this year, I think he's 5'6", but he was matched up against a Division I wide receiver, and that guy, or tight end actually, because they would move their tight end in and out outside a lot, and he was 6'5". And I really don't understand why the coach from the other side did not see that and go, dude, this guy's about to have a big game. But we did do a lot of things to help the small corner too. So we noticed that, if the tight end was on the backside of trips, they wanted to throw to that guy a lot. So we would bracket him two different. We would bracket him with the corner over the top and the linebacker helping underneath, or we would bracket him with the corner pressing really hard and the safety coming over the top. So like we had, like, I think there's a special call, like, I can't remember. Bill Belichick did it with who's that loudmouth receiver? Ocho Cinco, right?
Oh yeah, Chad Johnson.
Yeah, double 85. God, I can't remember the call. It's such a stupid thing I can't remember right now, but I always forget. Anyways, we were doing stuff like that where we would play our coverage short with the normal guys on the side that he wasn't on, and then we would double jersey number so that we would double 55, or what was number 15, and then when we would say high or low. So if we said low, that meant the linebacker would help. If we said high, that means the safety would help over the top. So yeah, and
I like that.
Yeah, if he was in the formation, like if he was in the trips formation, we took our best cover linebacker and we just jacked him up at the line. He didn't like it.
Yeah, no, well, and that's what you have to do. Like, is either if your corners are small but they're okay with being physical, like that was our guy. He was 5'1", 5'2", but he was okay with putting his nose where it probably didn't belong, being 5'1", all of 120 pounds. I think he wrestled at 115. So like,
oh my God.
Yeah, dude. Like he just got
you win for sure.
He was a little guy, but I mean he was tough as nails. Like he came up and he stuck dudes that were literally twice his size. But like every week they were like, we're going to throw to that guy. And we never gave him help because we're stupid. And we were like, go get him. And he was just a little chihuahua out there, and he would just he would get maybe about 2 balls in, and they'd be like, yeah, we're done with that.
Oh man.
So, and I'm not saying he didn't get beat. Like there were a couple times where he just misplayed it and the guys caught it up here and like he, batting at it. There was no chance, but no, I mean, for the most part, you got to be physical with those receivers at the line.
Yeah,
Get
and
them
also
kind of out of their mindset.
Like you're gonna have if he's the deficiency is he's small and he needs help, give him help.
Right.
Just figure out a way to give him help. And there's a bunch of ways to give your DB help, especially in coverage. All right, you want to do the next one?
Yeah, it's it's a middle school question. Your favorite?
Oh,
hey coaches, I'm currently a middle school defense coordinator. We run a 4-2-5 with a 1 weak and 3 strong. My 1 and 3 constantly get double teamed, and I need to figure out how to get them out of that situation so they can get penetration in the backfield. I thought about going to 2 techs, and the team that I'm going against next Saturday tends to run outside, and I think I need to get my interior lineman back there to disrupt the offensive timing. Any ideas? Thanks in advance. Coach Studevant from South Carolina.
Okay. Your 1 and 3 techniques are going to be studs if they're making plays in the outside.
Right.
When I picture because we used to run like a 4-2-5 thing. When I picture my 3 and my 1 technique, they were not going to make the play outside of C gap.
Right.
I'm going to be for real. If they're constantly being double teamed, the first thing I would try is to shift them over. So instead of being in an over front, shift to an under. So whoever was in your 3 technique is now your 1, and whoever's in a 1 technique is now your 3. And then that'll probably mess with the O-line a little bit, because if you're middle school kids, like the coaches are probably telling, well, he's going to be lined up here, and now all of a sudden he's not lined up there.
Right.
Like that's one of the things that I would do is just shift them from one, go from an over to an under. And then I don't know if you guys have either slanted or stunted those. I would try that next. Like we called our nose, that the 1 technique, our nose, the 3 technique was our tackle. We'd call a lot of nut and ton. So nose over tackle, and then tackle under nose. Like that's what we would call, and then we would get penetration that way as well. I don't know. That's how I would try to fix the problem. What do you got?
If they're both getting double teamed, maybe I'm wrong. That would leave both your linebackers pretty open to go make plays.
Right. Yeah. I mean, dude, I didn't even think about that. If they're getting double teamed a lot, the backers got a free run. What are they doing?
And if they're both getting double teamed and you're running a 4-man front, that means that one of your DNs is free. Unless they're running with, a single tight end, I guess. And then your D end is getting blocked by a tight end. Which I think that's a winnable matchup. But I think you also got to work, how do I get off of a double team, right? Like the old adage of 1 man can't block me, 2 men can't move me. So you should be holding down the fort up front, where I guess I don't know that it's necessarily a bad thing that they're getting doubled, because you should have them free runners somewhere. But yeah, I would say slant into stuff and moving them.
Dem them,
yeah.
move them that way,
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that you can do. But yeah, I think you're definitely right though. If both of them are getting double teamed, you have free runners somewhere.
Right. Because I also don't want my D line that deep in the backfield.
Yeah, neither do I. Like I
so
want
like when
the O-line.
Right. Like when he's saying, like, I want you on the ass of the O-line. I don't want you any deeper than a yard. So when disrupting the timing, like, dude, you don't have Aaron Donald. Like, I'm sorry to break the news to you. And even then, if you really watch what he's doing, Aaron Donald at about a yard deep, he finds the ball. Like, that's what makes him so good, is after he gets off his block, he finds the football. He's not just running back there like a crazy person, and he's 10 yards in the backfield. Those guys don't play on Sunday.
No.
No.
Like, did that Twitter post that said Aaron Donald wasn't as good with the run?
What?
Oh my God. Like that guy got lit up because it was just ridiculous.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Like he definitely isn't. He just tackles running backs at will. But
Yeah.
whatever.
That guy's the best D lineman in the game right now.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
Right. I mean, like Nick and Joey Bosa are phenomenal pass rushers.
Yeah.
Like if I need someone to go pin their ears back and go get the quarterback, I'll take the Bosa brothers any day of the week. But 4-down lineman, I mean, no one's better than Aaron Donald.
No, dude, Aaron is nuts. Like I'm a Niner fan, so I hate when the Niners play the Rams because I'm just like, fuck, are about to get chewed up by Donald, dude. It's crazy.
So Coach Studevant, that would be my thing. Hope that helps you. But keep doing what you're doing. Have your linebackers come up and fill some holes. I think that's more what you need.
For sure. Okay. Goal line D. Interesting. Team runs 2x2 and we'll throw. They run zone and speed option, and we run a 4-3. How do you defend? Honestly, dude, I don't have goal line D. Do you guys?
Only if they switch.
Yeah, like if they substitute a big package in, but even then, we don't like change our structure and formation of the defense.
So we would only go to something if they. So like we'll go to a 5-man front almost if they go double tight, double wing, like almost like a almost like a field goal look. I guess your style of offense.
Yeah.
If they go to your style of offense, if they go double tight, double wing, yeah, we're going to shift a little bit and do something different. But if they're going to stay in their normal formation, we don't all of a sudden change.
Well, I mean, just by looking at, watching film, and coaching the last, I don't even remember what year this is right now. I think it's closer to 10 than anything. But a lot of teams, especially in high school now, they just pretty much stay in their base offense.
Right.
There's no like goal line offense anymore. Like you're still in 2x2, you're still throwing 3x1, you're still going to run zone or midline or whatever the hell you're going to run. So we don't switch to anything special because the offense doesn't switch.
Right.
We run a 4-3 and here's how the first thing I would do is how to defend it. Go back, get their film, look through any red zone cuts. You know what I mean? What do they do in from their 0 to 20 yard line, and then from 20 to 20, and then the 20 going in, and then you can really see, does their offense change? Because sometimes some guys their offense changes in the 20-yard line, and there's a very noticeable difference about the things that they call or the types of plays that they run. We have a school, they run the wing T. And I respect the hell out of the coach. He really loves tackle trap within the 5-yard line. Dude, trust me, we saw it, we knew about it, still couldn't stop it. Still scored, but people call certain plays sometimes within certain yardages. So you don't have to change any structure or anything, and there's no best way to defend it. You need to figure out based off of what you know in your defense, one, how to fix the problem or how to fix what they're doing in that goal line or in that area. So if you run a 4-3, that tells me like your front, but it doesn't tell me your coverage behind it.
Right.
Cover 4 team, cover 2. Maybe you play a lot of 1 high with 3, and you have a safety roll down. I honestly, I don't know, but based off of what you guys do, look at what they're doing and your best way to defend it. Figure out what they like to do within the red zone. When you figure that out, then you'll have a better chance of stopping something.
Yeah, and I mean the red zone, you're also playing with shorter field, so I guess that would be the one thing that maybe you're obviously not worried about the deep ball anymore. So maybe at that point you just remind the safety like, hey, you have the back of the end zone to help you.
Yeah,
like you don't have to worry as much, vertical space as you do horizontal. So maybe that's where you might want to bring the safety up, especially if they're running more speed option. Maybe that's where you bring the safety up in the box a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about the speed option thing. That means you got to go over option responsibility for sure.
Right.
I'm picturing the D end not getting or being the unblocked player. So that means that the D end has to take the quarterback, and when he takes the quarterback, like destroy the kid. You know what I mean? put your shoulder into him and drive your feet and tackle that kid. Make him pitch early. And
Right.
then when he pitches early, now your guys have a chance to run up to the option man. But then again, you got to have someone responsible for that option guy too. You know,
Right.
so make sure for sure you're going over option responsibilities that day too, or that week.
Right. And you want to make sure that on option, you tell your quarterbacks or your corners, like if your receiver doesn't come up to block you, keep going with them because you could always have that option pass.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like, I mean, there's in the red zone, you get a lot of goofy plays too. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just beating those same rules that you normally do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We got Coach Lauren McNeil from the semi-pro level. He's running 4-3 zone. What is the best formation to switch to against the spread? A 4-3 zone.
I I don't know. I took that directly from the thing. I'm picturing just a 4-3 and you're running some type of zone behind it.
Right.
Maybe you mean. Again, I don't know what kind of zone you're running, so that makes the question harder.
But I mean, so if you run, you could run what? You could run a 2 or a 4. I mean, that would be your normal, right?
And
So
then roll
let's say you get real fancy and run out of match quarters. That's designed to go against the spread.
right.
So if I'm running a 4-3 match quarters, that's designed to go against the spread defense or spread offense. So there's nothing to switch to. Like maybe I throw a change up in there and I go a true man, and bring a little bit of pressure. I mean, I don't know that you need to switch anything.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, too, I don't think you should. I mean, it might depend on how athletic your linebackers are.
Yeah.
So, like if your linebacker, your 3 linebackers are like run plugger type guys, then obviously you need to sub those guys out and bring in, more of a quicker linebacker or a DB type of kid, or I shouldn't say kid because you're a semi-pro, so DB type of man. Um, but yeah, you don't really have to switch to a whole lot. Like this isn't. I hate saying this, but this isn't Madden where you're like, they're in a different formation, so you
Right.
switch out to something. It's real life ball. You can defend things out of the 4-3. You can defend things out of the 3-3. It just depends on what you do and what you know how to coach and what the offense is doing and what your system does to stop those things. So
I get like the 4-3, like Miami did the 4-3 to stop Oklahoma originally, right? So like it's good against option football.
Mhm.
But at the same time, a lot of people run the 4-3 now against spread. So like I just don't see the point. Like just stay with what you do. Like maybe you run a little cover 2, run a little cover 4. Like you said, maybe you switch out some of those outside linebackers. Maybe you just switch one of them out. But like kind of like a nickel. Maybe you have a nickel type package.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people get stuck in there. Well, I run a 4-3, right? Well, once you switch out someone, is it now basically a 4-2-5 just because
Right.
you have a in there, or are you still that guy, that outside linebacker you switch out? Is he still following those outside linebacker rules that you had if it was just a normal guy? And if
Right.
he is, and all you did was change the the person, you're still technically in your 4-3, right? Like, it doesn't matter what your base structure is. You just got to know, because like I was talking to you before the show about this. Like we're in a 3-4, right? But our
Mhm.
3-4 very easily will shift into a 3-3. Do the kids know that? No, they still think we're in our base defense, which is a good thing.
Right.
Because that means the rules haven't changed, what they're doing hasn't changed. As long as what we're doing hasn't changed, the only thing that might have changed is where they're lined up.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's probably the best way to go, is like that's how like simple the defense is. It can get complicated for sure with the schema running behind it. But if it's something that the kids are used to and already know, they're like, oh, okay, it's just this. Like, yep, just that. So just go with that.
Yeah.
Next one, oh, it's kind of the same thing almost, but we're going to answer it anyway because we got the time. So I just had a question on what is the best way to defend trips. This person also runs it's Coach David Palmer in South Carolina. He also runs a 4-3 and sometimes switch to a 5-2. Usually he has the cornerback on the outside guy and have my safeties on the middle and inside guy. So we're running straight up cover zero. That's what it
Right.
sounds. Sweet Lord bless you. You better like
Whew.
get that pressure on that quarterback and make him throw the ball in like 2 seconds, because longer than that and cover zero, that's asking for a deep ball. I don't know. That's what I would.
Yeah.
Are you agreeing with me, Mr.
Yeah.
Air Rating? Like,
Yeah, I mean that's where you're running that kind of corner snag concept. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to run one guy to the corner, I'll snag one guy, put him on that like stick snag route, and then run an arrow underneath. Like, just have people going all over the place, and good luck.
I'm not gonna lie. There have been a few. Maybe when I was a younger defensive coordinator, I think 26 when I first got my D coordinator job at the high school I'm at. I had more balls back then, and cover zero didn't scare me as much. But now, like, I'm not deathly afraid of it. I've done it, but just not as often.
So I guess, like, to me, it's not that coverage zero and like all out blitzing to me isn't as much as like a scare as like it doesn't make sense. Like, so I'm going to go cover zero so that even if 10 out of the 11 guys on defense does everything perfectly, they can still score.
I mean, that's exactly why it scares me now.
Well, but I'm just saying, so logically, why would I do that? Why would I put my team in a position where and that kid that messes up, like it might not even be like a bad mess up. Like if we're running corner, the 10 other kids do their job, they do a nice job, we get a good pass rush, but that quarterback throws a perfect ball, receiver catches that and gets in the end zone. Well, that's you get that tip of the cap moment where it's like, yeah, no, good job, nice play by the quarterback. But that, I don't know, you put that's where as a coach you put your defense in a bad spot, and then you see the coaches on the sideline like light their DBs up, and you're like, dude, that wasn't on them, that was on you, bud.
That was my fault.
You're right.
That's why I've kind of gotten away from it a little bit more, is because teams in especially the last 3 or 4 years, even 5 to 6 years even, they've gotten so much better at throwing the ball.
Right.
I mean, like, guys practice that more often. There's all these 7-on-7 camps that just focus on throwing the goddamn ball. So, like, those perfect dots,
right,
they happen more often now than they used to.
Right.
So that's why I tended to stay away from zero. Like, if you like to run cover zero and blitz and live and die by the seat of your pants, fucking you do you, and I hope you get where you need to go. But like, I'm not about to do that as much anymore. I've done it a few times this year, and I think one of the times we did do it, our guy missed the tackle, and we had him stopped before the first down.
Yep.
It was 3rd and 6, and he caught the ball at 4 yards. He made the tackle at 5, missed the tackle, like he broke the tackle, and off he went.
Right.
That's because everyone else had their back turned looking at their receiver,
Right.
So like, is it my fault? Maybe. Is it the kid's fault for not making the play? Maybe as well. Like I thought he would be one of the kids that would make the play. That's why he was on the field.
For sure.
Anyway, best way to defend trips, we do a few different things. My two favorite ways to do this right now is to run special, where the corner is man on man with the receiver. We're making him, so man everywhere he goes. And then my strong side linebacker DB type kid, we call him our eagle linebacker, and our strong safety, they're playing 2 read with the 2 and the 3, and they're reading number 3. The backside guy, he's basically man on man as well, especially if he goes deep up the field. If he crosses anywhere within 5 yards, he just passes them off to linebackers and keeps dropping. The other way that we do this a lot is we play, again, man mod, so man on demand. If he goes deep on the backside, then he's gone. He's with him. If he goes anywhere inside, he passes them off to the linebackers. But on the play side, our free safety is now looking at number 3, and we call it solo, and a bunch of other people call it a bunch of different things, but our call is solo. And then so he's looking at number 3 for the vertical. If number 3 isn't vert, then he just keeps dropping, and we read the rest of the side. We're just playing cover 4.
Yeah, basically the same thing. I mean, they're I don't know, probably the two hot ways of
I think they are
playing
the two
troops
most
right now.
talked about ways right now on like the coaching verse, I guess.
Right.
Those two types of ways to play trips.
Yeah, that first one also is called like a mini 2.
Yeah,
right?
a special mini stubby stump, some
Right.
shit
Yeah,
form version of
but
that.
but yeah, it's a bunch of different things. I'd say, like, truthfully, that especially if you have a really good cover corner,
Mhm.
it is a really nice way to play it.
Right. Yeah.
The other way is, I think, kind of more of a traditional way is like if you throw it into, you take your outside linebacker, your safety, and your corner, and just kind of you play your levels with that, where your outside linebacker has the flats, your corner has kind of that mid-level to deep outside, and the safety has that deep middle. Almost like it's not quite quarters, but
Like a cover 6.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Program questions. We're almost done. We got 3 left.
Right.
Hang in with us, guys. We're almost done. Jesus, we got to go fast. All right.
All right.
You want to go?
Yeah, I'm a high school football coach. Do you have any character development blueprints you can use or willing to share ideas? I coach in inner city, lots of single parent households. Coach Camacho up in Washington.
Interesting. So there was actually a Glacier topic about this in San Francisco this year, and it was pretty interesting. It was pretty good. I don't have any particular character blueprint development idea or specifics. I know that there are a few things that you can do. So we usually have our school's associated with the Navy because Everett Alvarez was a POW. So like I've never taken them up on the offer. But for like, and I really think I should. I'm not sure how I would this year, but anyways, the Navy is actually willing to come into our school because they're going to use it for recruiting.
Mhm.
They'd be willing to come into our school and do like, stuff with our kids that involve character development and, obviously running and endurance and stuff. There are, I think, if you're looking for a program, um, I don't want to. I guess I'm plugging them. I think Rick Stewart has something from like a first to worst type of thing going on.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what.
It's pretty good.
Okay. I just didn't remember exactly what it all entailed as far as like if it does the character development part.
Well, I remember I actually hooked up with him and we talked and texted, and it was a fundraiser for us because a school was doing a research and they paid us to have the kids take these to do these activities. And basically it was character development. We talked about, integrity. We talked about emotional like stability. We talked about a bunch of things, but the kids I had to deliver an actual lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the kids watched a video and they reflected on the lesson and wrote their responses down. And it worked pretty well. Like the kids really kind of took to it at first.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the time frame was over, though, we just kind of stopped. And I'm thinking maybe we should have kept going with it.
Yeah.
It would have been something cohesive throughout the whole year and then even into the next year. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what I got going on, I guess.
Yeah, I know there's like the Real Men program. I've heard about that before. You Google that. I've heard about it. I don't know a ton about it. They've reached out. I think I've gotten some information about it. It looks pretty interesting. Unfortunately, at our school, once the season's done, we have like a month and a half, 2 month gap where we don't get to really interact with our kids outside of if they come in the morning and they don't come in the morning.
Okay.
So there's too many large chunks of time where we don't actually get to interact with them. And this is kind of, it was like a full year program. So that would probably be something I think more on the lines of what you're doing. I know Randy Jackson with his kind of culture books.
That's
Those are,
what I was thinking too, because I was actually looking at my Kindle reader right now. I was like, I know there's a guy that has these.
yeah, Randy Jackson stuff's good. But again, I think we talked about it before. It's what is your school culture like, and is that something they're going to promote? Because if the school culture doesn't promote that, I think it's more difficult. I'm not saying it can't be done. It's just more difficult to do, and it's going to take some more time. So, Coach Camacho, don't think that it's going to be something that you throw it out there and then it happens overnight, kind of a deal.
Right, for sure. This is something that if it's a huge issue, it's going to take years.
Right.
Like you're going to have to really count your success based off of the freshmen you have until their senior years,
Right.
not the seniors or juniors. Like where you first start doing any type of development. I mean, obviously you want to reach those kids and get to them too, but the impact is going to be a lot more when they're freshmen and they hear the same things the whole 4 years for sure.
Right. So it might not even be necessarily this group of freshmen. It might be the, seventh graders that this year's seventh graders is really what you're going to have to base. Was your program successful?
Does your program go down to 7th grade?
No, I'm just saying, like, looking long range, like
Okay.
2 classes from now, freshmen, not, I think McDonald's does, because, he gets everything.
Yeah. They always get everything at those schools over there. I mean, damn. He's over here complaining how little, like how what was he talking about? How the amount of kids he has wasn't as much as he wanted.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But you get the quality, right? I mean,
right. I think
quality's always good.
Right.
I think like he's doing pretty well right now.
Yeah. I think he's doing well. I think Coach McDonald's on the right side of 500. I think that's what last week was. I don't remember.
I think they started off kind of rocky. I think they were
did.
like 0-4, but they've won the last 3.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you got something to lean your hat on right there, McDonald's. Right. Sure. I mean, I know it ain't male, but you got something going on over there, bud. Like, don't keep it up. Trust me, we watching, we looking, we peeking. All right, next one. Oh man, this one's way off the normal thing. What do you guys use to clean uniforms?
Coach Sparks out in West Virginia.
Tide. I don't know.
So I would use OxyClean.
Okay.
Especially for our white ones.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we have blacks for our home, for our home jerseys are black, and that doesn't matter because we're also on turf. But like we play our away games, and I think on our away game we have 3 natural grass, and of course our away uniforms are all white. And so like they get stupid dirty.
Honestly, so I use whatever the PE department has in their laundry room.
Yeah, that's what I used until like I couldn't get the grass stains out, and they're like, I'm like, oh, could I get more uniforms? They're like, oh yeah, in 4 years when you're due. I'm like, oh damn. Okay, then
nope.
I'll figure out how to do this.
Yeah. Honestly though, too, like my kids, we usually give the uniforms out for the duration of the season too.
Okay.
They take care of their own stuff, and I mean they actually do a pretty good job of it. The crappy part about it is I got to chase them down,
right,
and turn it in. So usually I've gotten smarter. Like on the last home game,
you collect the home.
I put a bin, right outside, right inside the locker room, and I sit in the locker room like, all right, your home jersey goes in here. And what are the playoffs? Because we were trying to make the playoffs during that time. And I'm like, dude, if we make the playoffs, you're not playing a home game. Like, let's get that. You're going to be like an 8 seed and we're going. So they don't even matter. And we're like, oh, damn. All right. And, we got jerseys that way this year. So, yeah. Dude, last one. You ready?
Yep.
All right, guys. I'm compiling information for a future coaching notebook. Okay. As a reference for when that term head coach is affixed to my name. I'm already confused in this question. What is the singular greatest piece of advice you could offer a future head coach? Oh, okay. Whether it's X's and O's, Jimmy's and Joe's, scheme, program management. And that's Coach McLaughlin out in Tennessee. Okay. So basically, this guy wants to be a head coach and he wants to have like a little bit of advice from a bunch of other head coaches
Right.
or whoever. So first of all, if you have anything for Coach McLaughlin, hit him up. Let him know. Um, I wish I had more contact information for you, but I don't.
Yeah. Sorry, coach.
Sorry, dude.
But luckily, you have two head coaches here that can give you advice.
We'll see how good it is, though.
Yeah, I don't know that it's good advice. But no, coach, I would say biggest thing is surround yourself with people you trust and that are way smarter than you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's you don't want to be always looking over your shoulder. So you want to make sure you're surrounding yourself with people you trust and people that are going to work as hard as you are. Not that I ever am going to demand that of them, but I know that they care and that they're going to put the time and effort in. And I know that they're all on the same page as I am. And they're striving towards the same goal. So I'd say that's kind of the big piece of advice is when you're putting your staff together, make sure you find good people that you can put on that staff.
Yeah. Dude, like I said, you stole my answer because that was the first thing that came to my mind was
Right?
I want guys that know what they're talking about and, will follow in the direction. They're not going to question every single thing that you do. However, you do want those coaches that, will kind of play devil's advocate every now and then and be like, well, if we tried this, do you think this would work better? And, you don't, because I don't want to be, like you said, I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room.
Right.
And I've coached under a couple head coaches that thought they were, and it doesn't work. You just feel like you're as the assistant, you're meaningless. It's like, well, if you know every single thing of how, like, I'm going to follow what you do, but like, if you don't give me room to coach, why am I even here? So give your coaches room to coach, surround yourself with guys that you can trust and that you'll know they'll run your program. Damn it, I had one more before I even started though. As a head coach, don't do that. Don't draw a blank.
And
I got it. It's learn how to delegate too. Because
yeah,
as the coach, you feel like you're in charge. You need to have your hands in everything, and sometimes that's just too much. And you need to be able to delegate to other coaches on your staff to have them take care of it. Because at the end of the day, you have to stay sane. And at the end of the day, you probably have someone to go home to, and they're waiting for you to come home. I know Mack has a wife and kids. I'm actually about to celebrate my 1-year wedding anniversary at the beginning of next month.
congratulations.
Thanks. I've had to kind of like learn the hard way, our first few years of dating, like, I had my coach's life and then, I'd, be on empty in the gas
Right.
tank at the end of the day. And, I realized I give her fumes. You know what I mean? And then there's, then she gets upset with me about, how much, time I put on in the football field and, just not enough quality time spent with her. Then you start to realize like, shit, I can't do everything because if I do, then it takes away from my personal life and the stuff that you have going on at home. And we don't even have kids yet. So I can't even imagine. I kind of imagine myself with like the kid strapped to my backpack. And, like I'm coaching with that little fucker on my back. I mean, honestly, too, one of the head coaches that I worked under, loved working with him. He brought his kids to practice all the time, and it was fun. Like I, enjoyed seeing his daughter. He brings student, volunteers to babysit and shit. Like it was cool, but yeah, I mean, as a head coach, like you're gonna have to learn how to delegate too. You
Yeah.
don't need to be in everything.
Yeah. No, definitely good piece of advice right there.
Yeah, I knew I had one.
All
Ready to
right.
get
That wraps up week 7.
All right, guys. Yep, that wraps up week 7. Make sure you check out our, online clinic stuff at clinic.chiefpigskin.com. Nate actually, has a pretty good lineup set out for the next few months of where he's going to go visit. I've been watching the Wing T stuff that's on there. I know you haven't, but you're excited for something that's got to be coming up. Check out the other stuff that we have going on YouTube with Coach Hines and what's that other one? Oh my God,
the Power Hour.
And there's one more. One more
we're not going to plug, I guess.
I guess not. Sorry, I mean,
yeah,
you got to do us.
Yeah.
And Nate our show's names. How bad is that?
Right. And Nate's been doing a bunch of coaches hangouts, going through all the different coaching topics for football.
Right.
So check those guys out too.
That one's pretty good. The option one was pretty good. I went back and watched that one. Anchor Down. That's the one.
That's what it was. Yeah. Anchor Down.
Right. Let me get out of here before I completely lose stuff. All right, guys.
So
have a good week 8. I know we get to start practice, and hopefully where you are. Sorry, Mac. You get to start something soon.
February
too.
15th.
Yeah. All right, guys. Peace.
Take care.